welcome to Voices from the Village. My name is Sarah Kletzer, and we are Peace on the Streets, a student group founded at Santa Cruz High School. One thing we wanted to talk about first was how this group got started. Julia, would you like to start?
Sure. So Peace on the Streets was started just basically at Santa Cruz High, and it was just a whole bunch of kids, and they were just talking about basically all the things that have happened at Santa Cruz and how we can stop it. And it was just a whole bunch of people, and they weren't really angry, but they had a lot of really, really good ideas, and we felt like we needed to come together and form some sort of organization that could just show the community all of the resources that we have.
So pretty much we wanted to put those ideas and like, cause like everyone has really peaceful ideas a lot of the time, and everyone can think of ways to better our community without retaliation and without violence and without anger. However, few people actually decide to like make those into something. And so with our group, we have been fueled by like the recent deaths of Carl and Tyler, and like their deaths every day in like other counties as well. And we hear about those all the time on the news and in the Santa Cruz Sentinel. And we wanted to actually like put our words and thoughts and ideas into action. And that's what we're trying to do with Peace on the Streets.
And also one of the girls in our class was talking about a group that she volunteers at called Familia Center, and it just sounded like a great idea and like a great positive solution because it's a group that helps out kids after school. It's like a mentor program, so we wanted to find out more about programs like that and help like get involved in our community.
My inspiration for joining Peace on the Streets was seeing all the emotion that happened after the recent violence and the deaths of the youth in our community. And I really thought that something needed to make a change and that the youth really had to head that change. How were you guys inspired to join Peace on the Streets?
Well, I didn't exactly have any personal experience, but I felt like I knew people that knew people that knew people, and I didn't feel like I needed to have a personal experience to act and join this group, and that's pretty much what my inspiration was.
Yes, I knew a lot of people that were particularly affected by it, and I saw a lot of my friends being really hurt by it. And the thing is, like, we shouldn't even have to see like ourselves be hurt by that or one of our close friends, because people are hurt from it by the violence in our communities every day, and that's enough for us to make it action. And I've always been the type of person who's like been really for peace and really for nonviolence and not like singling out a certain group and like not like blaming everyone. And so like when we were talking about this in my English classes when we formed this group, and we were talking about all the recent violence, and it just sounded like a perfect opportunity, and like this is exactly what I'm interested in. So I jumped on the opportunity and joined the group.
And I was also really inspired by a discussion we had the day after the death of Carl in our English class, where there were a lot of good ideas put out on the table. And so also I just like wanted to help make a change, like help actually do something to change like the path of that violence in Santa Cruz has been taking.
So that's how we started Peace on the Streets. And on May 29th, we held a forum. We called it Peace on the Streets. We held it at the Loudon Nelson Center. And we invited numerous groups who had very peaceful solutions to violence to come help us. And it was a great time. Do you guys want to talk about that?
I really, really liked that forum because I felt that a lot of people came, and it was people from different schools, and I really liked being able to have a place where like different high schools could come, because even though this group was founded at Santa Cruz High, I'm hoping that eventually it could be, a group with all the high schools. And I liked that we had, different kinds of people coming, and they all had similar and yet different views.
Yeah, well, because part of our vision was to take what we already have in this community, which we already have lots of groups, Barrios Unidos, Brown Berets, Nonviolent Center, Familia Center, And we wanted to take those groups that are already in place and use them and show other people that they can just jump aboard those groups and start making a change. So, for example, we, like people have already said, we invited all those groups to come and to present about what they were doing to better our community and what they were doing to make a change. And so we jumped on board, and I know a lot of people in our group are trying to volunteer at those places because a lot of those places are already there. We do not need to make a new group. Our whole point is like, let's come together as a whole community, and let's all work towards that with things that people already have made. So that's what we're doing.
And it was also just a place for our community to come together, like as a whole, because to start making changes, you have to just all come together and just talk about things that have been happening, which was what we did. We had big discussion group tables where we had a few questions that we discussed, like how has the violence affected you and what have you learned we had different presentations from the different groups, like Annalisa was saying. So how do you feel those presentations affected you, and like what do you want to do to make a change now? So I just thought it was really great how great the response was from the community as well.
Yeah, I thought it was great because I got to talk to people whom I probably never would have talked to about things that were really, really important to us. And I felt we were starting to make a change right then and there. But we came away from the forum with a lot of great new ideas and visions for the future.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the visions that we heard were from just community members, and they came up with ideas that I had never thought of before. And I mean, I knew that we were going to come up with new ideas. I just didn't think we were going to come up with such different ideas.
Yeah, besides like just jumping on board, there are other things that we can do, like new things that we can adopt from other communities and other schools. And SoCal High School has this group called Lucha that works towards it aims itself at kind of at-risk youth, and it helps those kids bring up their grades, bring up their just help them with their whole lifestyle, and especially their education, because it's a program that's run at school. And education's, as we all know, is definitely one of the keys to success in this life. And that seemed like a great program, because one of the things that a lot of people think is, let's just let's just try to, the people that are causing the violence, let's just go at them with hate, and let's just respond with violence, which is completely the wrong thing, because violence only leads to more animosity and hate. So it's definitely the wrong thing. And also there are things that we can do to intervene in children's lives earlier so that they do not become that, because once people are violent, it's kind of a cycle that might be hard to break. And so one thing is to get into people's lives earlier as kids. And we were thinking, we came away from the program with lots of ideas about what we could do to, we could go and talk to middle schools about the dangers of gangs and gang violence, and there are all other types of violence as well. And we thought we came away with some great ideas about that.
Also, youth voices, our voices, are often overstepped, and so it was really great to hear. In the beginning, a few students read a memoir or a poem that they had written about how the violence had affected them, so it was really great for us to get to hear that, and for community members, adults and people from different organizations, to get to hear what we had to say for a change.
Yeah, I think the youth is what's going to have to spearhead our movement so far, because it's what already has, and the youth is going to be great here. I think we can definitely make a change.
And Annalisa was talking about the educational opportunities like Lucha, and the Familia Center, which I hadn't heard of before, was one of the presenters at our forum, and I felt that they were also key to preventing violence because they focus on educating young children, and I feel like we should be able to make their services heard of more easily.
Yeah, I think it would be great if more schools could adopt the type of program we're doing or also work with us to like continue this movement of peace and nonviolence, because we're trying to continue that. We're trying to continue into next school year as well as this summer, and maybe have another forum, and that would be great if any community members, teens, young children, parents, older folk alike could come and be part of our group.
Some of the visions that we had already, or ideas that came out of this program, were, like we said earlier, youth programs, job skills training, different schools getting into this program, maybe more class discussion on the gang violence and what leads to gang violence and gangs themselves. And we decided at the forum that we really had to take charge.
My question for you all, because you're a student group and summer vacation just started, so do you have, like, what's next? Is there anything you're doing this summer? What's your vision as you move into the fall? You know, where are you going next? Even though, like, how do you plan to keep momentum even though the school year just ended?
Well, we're still all gonna work to continue our beliefs that we should act with peace and nonviolence. And I know that particular me, like myself, I can just speak for myself. I'm gonna volunteer at Familia Center this summer after I get back from my vacation to Mexico. So I'm like that just happened from going to the forum. I decided I would do that, and I think a lot of other people in our group are trying to step on board with a program we learned about from the forum, and we're trying to continue making a change by actually doing something in the community with the group, not just with our program. And next year we're going to have another forum, hopefully at the beginning of the school year, because we know a lot of people are away for summer. So we're not actually going to have a forum this summer, but we're thinking of having another forum next school year. And also there's a Barrios Unidos forum, I think the 16th, at Lauda Nelson Center. And so that's just as important as our forum. It's another nonviolence, helping us to be it, just help mend our community. And so there are a lot of opportunities, not just put on by our group, but we're going to put on another forum next year, beginning of the school year.
And also another thing we're thinking about doing next year is a youth, I think it's called a Youth Speaks event, where it's just at Santa Cruz High, a bunch of us are going to gather on the front steps or something, and we're going to just have it's like a free mic time. So because our voices as youth can be so powerful that we think that would just be a great way to get more students involved in our club too, and just involved in the changes we're making.